What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the Tesla SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far, what the news is saying about Tesla, Apple, and other stocks like that, and what the trends are suggesting as time progresses. But before I begin to all this information, before I give you guys any pre-market updates, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the soft ends in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, looking at Tesla's thing is up 4% in the pre-market, pumping exactly as predicted. I called that Tesla could be approaching 168 to 170 very, very soon, and we made that move. I think there is potential for more upside. So I'm going to break down some levels to watch for what could cause us to see more upside, what's going on with the markets first before I break down these charts. Now, as a reminder, today's Monday, March 18th at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have some housing data coming out. Then at 11:30 a.m., we have the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions also coming out. So watch to see what this causes for the markets. Watch for some volatility at 11:30 a.m., and we'll have to see how things go after that. But besides that, I also want to just call out the importance of us all talking about the Fed. The Fed is going to be addressing the fact that many, U.S. averages have all posted at least 2 straight losing weeks, and that's because of the high inflationary data that came out. So we ended up seeing CPI harder than expected. PPI was also harder than expected. So the Fed has to be very careful what they give us in the economic projections reports. That's going to be important for the week. Congress is yet again attempting a partial government shutdown. That's very, very important. Lawmakers have until Friday to pass appropriation bills or let funding lapse for 6 departments. That's important. So watch and see what Congress does this week. We'll see how things go. This could affect the markets. Besides that, I actually saw that Novo Nordisk's basically has this popular pharmaceutical drug that has been approved in the U.S. for health benefits. So that's bullish news for them. And finally, when it comes to tech, there's been a lot of talk about these layoffs that are going to likely continue. That is most likely going to be the case, but you just have to be very careful because remember, with this going on, with different sectors potentially being at risk, we're going to have to see how this ends up affecting data and things like that, which will have a bigger effect on the markets. And I'll be watching to our unemployment numbers as time goes on. But there is a risk of more layoffs as time goes on, just as reports are suggesting. I have a couple of headlines to be talking about. Alphabet is up 5.5% in the pre-market after a report came out that Apple's in talks to license Gemini for iPhone. So bullish news for both ends. As far as Nvidia goes, as you guys know, we have this big event going on, the next conference for them, and they could be announcing some new products. If Nvidia announces that it's going to begin producing an H20 AI chip for the Chinese market, that would be bullish news for them, and that's part of why Nvidia is already pumping a bit. So we'll see what happens. For Tesla, it's actually hiking prices of all the Model Y vehicles in the US, and that's bullish news. It's raising the prices in the US. It's also saying that all Model Ys are going to increase by $1,000 for April 1st, 2024, and all the trims qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit in the USA. This is why Tesla's bouncing the way it is because it's showing more and more confidence. Once again, this is what we want to see. And so far, we're getting a very, very positive reaction. On March 1st, they actually hiked the price of the Model Y RWD and the long range by about 1,000. And with that happening, the company did not shed light on whether the April increase would be in addition to the March one, but that's actually pretty good news so far. After slashing prices again and again and again, the prices are still down overall, but this is still good news. Now, on top of this, they're also announcing it's going to be raising prices for the Model Y in many European countries, and that's going to raise them by about 2,000 euros starting on March 22nd. And there is some eligibility for free supercharging as well, depending on if people buy the new Model X's, Y's, and S's, eligible for 5,000 miles if they deliver them by March 31st. So good news for them. Despite all the bad news that was coming out last week with price cuts and this and that, I was anticipating that Tesla stock would get a bounce, and we finally got a catalyst for it. So it worked out quite well, and this is our bounce. So what's going on with Tesla? What do I think is going to pan out, at least for the share price? Let's talk about some very, very pivotal levels. So just want to mention that right now for Tesla, we're trying to push higher. The chart is looking bullish, forming a nice double bottom like formation. But on our 30 minutes time frame, we have resistance very close to about 171.5 to 172. If we break above this red resistance right here, this 200 EMA, I could see Tesla trying to push closer to 172. And if we hold above that, I could quite easily see this thing going all the way up to 175, a bigger push. Now, I think if I were to give a prediction, let me first say that 171.5, 172, and then 175 are going to be some resistance levels worth watching. And for support, watch 170. If we lose this, there's going to be 167.8, 165, followed by 162. With this double bottom like formation and with this potential balance that's coming to Tesla, I think this thing could pop and drop just a little bit, maybe grab a little bit more liquidity down here and eventually start pushing to try to fight for 172. If we get above that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 175 plus or even higher levels than that. We also have this imbalance up all the way up to about 177, but we're not going to worry about that yet. I would say the chart looks bullish, so I do favor more upside. It might come down a bit, but then eventually start to push towards 175. I do favor that for Tesla. We're looking pretty good so far. On top of this, for SPY, I just want to make a big adjustment to my previous video. SPY is actually a little bit stronger than expected. We did break past this yellow trend line. We also are above here. So I was saying yesterday we might get a rebound and then we might end up turning back down later, looking at the current trend. The technicals have adjusted. We might not get much of a move to the downside yet. It could just continue pushing now. And I say that because we're seeing some big changes on our larger time frames. So this is making me suspect it might just continue going. So for SPY, I'm going to be watching 513.5, 512.5, and then 512 as our supports. If we lose that, 510 is next. And for resistance, if we keep going, I wouldn't be surprised if we go all the way up to about 515. Watch 514.2, then 515 is the next resistance. If we break that, there's 516.5, and then this imbalance to fill 517 coming next. In my opinion, the chart's looking bullish, so I think that SPY could drop a little bit and then continue pushing to 515 plus. I do favor that, and then I think we could push even higher from there. So I've made a little adjustment for my previous analysis. Sometimes it happens, but that is how things go. And part of why this is happening is because of Nvda. Nvidia just balanced very nicely. We came very close to our resistance at 908, so it's kind of seeing some resistance at around 905 to 908. But my point is, Nvidia actually broke past this 900 area, and that's actually a very, very good sign for it. So it could push a little bit, drop a little bit afterwards. It's this little retracement, and then we could continue higher if we break past 908. If we break that, we could go all the way up to this imbalance at 928 very soon. So my prediction is this thing's going to test 908, come back down. It could retrace a bit all the way back to the 890s, then make its way back up higher. And once we break 908, we could start pushing to much higher levels because of the fact that this is going to be very important for the chart and many other changes that are coming. So with Nvidia potentially pushing, this is what's helping both SPY and the QQQ, mainly the QQQ pump. And I just want to be watching for that with the big event for today. For the QQQ, this is looking bullish because when you look at the QQQ, we're at this resistance right here. If we do hold above 438, I could be looking for 440 next. Well, 439 actually has some tight resistance where I was looking at, and then 440. The reason for that is because that's going to be where our 4-hour 20, I believe it's the 20, 50 EMA happens to be. The chart does look bullish on the QQQ though, so it could actually try to push a little higher. Going to be watching 440's resistance. For support, watch 438 and then 436. If we lose 436, we turn bearish. But this chart looks bullish. It's going to be trying to push for 439. If that breaks, there's 440, 442, and then 444 coming. Chart is looking bullish so far. And then last but not least, we have the one and only Apple stock. Now, I was saying in my previous video, Apple may test 174. And I wasn't sure if we'd break this or not because every time we hit this, we did get a rejection. But finally today, after bullish news came out, Apple bounced. So we could actually try to push for 175. If we break this, I'm sorry, 175.75, not just 175 because we're already there. I might push for 175.75. If that breaks, I wouldn't rule out 176.5 on Apple to 177. Could come down a bit, then try to continue pushing, but this is going to help the market if we just keep going. So watch the resistance levels up there. For support, watch 174, 172.5, and then 170.9. My gut tells me it might retrace a little bit, then just continue pushing for 175.75, 176.5, and then 177. So it might come down a bit and start pushing higher. Apple's looking bullish. The market's looking bullish, guys. We're getting an attempt to rebound, but Tesla, of all things, has my attention because I do see more potential for it. It could retrace a little bit, just a little bit, before it tries to continue higher. So watch for that, and we'll see if we can try to get back above 172. If we achieve that, 175 plus is likely coming. With that being said, thank you all for listening. Make sure you watch your levels, do what you have to do, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. If you're interested in just a couple more, super micro right now is looking bullish. We're starting to consolidate a bit, but I could see one. Basically 1110 and then eventually 1125 coming as resistance, but it does look bullish. Just a few more. Amazon, we're going to be testing resistance on 176. If we break this, 178 is a possibility. Meta is going to be testing basically around 490. If we break this, I'm going to be watching 494. And if we break that, 500 is coming. But I could see some attempt for upside looking at the 4-hour time frame. I could see this thing trying to push a little higher. Let me see if we can try to break 494 or not. All right, guys. Anyways, have a great day. Spies showing life. So is Tesla. We'll see how things go and just take care, everyone. I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. Thank you and peace out.